This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. So we have a chair, we have a vice chair. Is anybody willing to be the secretary?
I have questions about that.
Hey, Julia.
So I know our bi-monthly neighborhood meetings are now mostly in person, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything the secretary needs to do for those meetings? And I guess what is the role of the secretary? Is it mostly for this meeting, or is it for everything? It'd be nice to have kind of a summary of that.
I'll see if I can dredge up the charter real quickly and throw it into the chat. Because that actually defines the roles.
Great. That would be perfect.
So the only thing I can think of at our public meetings is really attendance. I've been really, really bad about keeping track of attendance.
Are we posting those things? Like, where does that go back to the HRNI? What does it look like?
There's an annual report that HRNI has that we need to at least have a good idea of what the numbers look like. So, which is why you've seen me spend more time on that.
Yeah, you want to at least get in the ballpark, and they usually, I don't know if the reports still do this, but they used to ask for how many board members were there as opposed to how many regular members were there.
That's just a matter of taking a head count out of our public meetings and then keeping some minutes for these meetings, and they're recorded, so you could use the recording to go back and fill in.
Yeah. And it's not, it's not horrendous. I don't believe in keeping detailed minutes. It's really, what was the main topic of discussion? Was there any motions and, decisions made? And that's, who was there? And yeah. That's really all the minutes need to be.
I agree.
Jen kind of spoiled us with their minutes, but
they were amazing.
They were very amazing. Yes,
they're much overqualified.
Yeah, I put the charter in the chat so that people can, and if you're on the steering committee, you probably should at least familiarize yourself with it. It's a pretty standard charter. There's some things I wish we could change on it, which we could do.
That could be a subcommittee.
That could be a subcommittee, and we're overdue. And Leah,
yours was doing that a minute ago when you were looking around. So I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, you're deconstructing.
It looks like a horror movie, and it's freaking me out.
I know. I feel like what is that?
It's The Ring in 2023. Like it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, Tim.
Ours have done that in some of my other Zoom meetings, and it just random people start.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Pete was having a spasm for a second, then I figured out it was.
Hey Tim,
okay,
that was.
So I'm not going to mess with my other screen. All right. Okay. So back to we have a chair, we have a vice chair.
Yeah.
He's going to take minutes.
Yeah. And I agree with Leah that the minutes don't have to be all that complicated. There's a lot of people. In fact, I go to, and Emily, you've probably seen this too. Is you go to these meetings and they give you these minutes that are like 8 pages long, and I'm like, I don't want to read that.
I'm a really big fan of bullet points.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and none of our meetings, our minutes shouldn't be more than, we talked about what our meetings, what speakers are coming up, what dates, where we're gonna have it, and that's it. I mean, that's really what we talk about. So
Yep.
it shouldn't be complicated.
No.
Well, I would be up to that, including bullet points.
Bullet points. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Noah. So our slate of officers is myself as chair, Michael Cunningham as vice chair, Noah as our secretary. I don't think we need a treasurer for any particular reason.
But it still
So-
should be Suzanne.
Yes, it still should be Suzanne. There we go. She does such a great job.
And she can put it on, stuff.
Yeah.
And-
Okay.
And we'd give her raving reviews.
Yes. Write you a letter of
Yeah.
recommendation.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion?
I so move to nominate Leah as chair, Michael as vice chair, Noah as secretary, and Suzanne as treasurer.
Second.
I second that.
Thanks, Gina.
All right, so Julia and okay. Any further discussion on that?
Not that I can think of, Chairman.
Go team. All right,
I
All
do
in
have to
favor?
say, I love this team. This is a great team.
all in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna say aye.
Yes. Okay. Yay, we have officers. Okay. Michael, did you want to bring up your idea?
Yes, I definitely would like to. All right, to my fellow board members, I've got an idea for our next election for our brand new officers. How about we look to? I forget what it was, Leah, but you go ahead and say it.
You wanted to have a swearing in ceremony.
Oh yeah, just like the. Yeah, so just like our presidents do, like Biden and all the rest of those guys. I thought that'd be a great idea for us. That way we can start learning that process for committee wise. I don't know who would be in favor of that, but I want to throw that out there for like an idea. Doesn't have to be done, but it's just an idea.
Anybody have feelings about a swearing in?
And that would be for the next selection cycle.
Yeah, I believe so. No, I think that'll be the next cycle.
So next year, 2024.
Yeah, like 2024.
Okay.
So, are you thinking like swearing in for all the officers, and do you want to change the charter for that, or how do you what? I'm just trying to understand. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to flesh out what you're doing here.
All right, Pete, I can answer that question. All right, so what I was thinking for us board members, for 2024, whoever wants to run for office, whether for be chairman or vice chair or whoever steps down, if we swear in a brand new officer, that's what I was thinking. So that's an idea, like if Biden did, Trump, where they put their hand on the Bible and stuff, but I figured that's a great idea for us. That way we can become formal if that ever happens for us. I thought that'd be a great idea for our committee. I don't know who's all in favor of it. A great idea for us. I think, I don't know if you can be in favor of that, Pete, or can we get like a 2/3 majority vote for that, or?
I'll be honest, I'm really ambivalent. It's interesting. It's like like, Counselor Simple, she gets sworn in every year by the
Only every four.
only every 4. Okay.
It's good for 4
Yeah.
years. It's the heavy duty model.
Yeah, because I had to do my own swearing in process for the for LTD, and that was consisted of signing a form in front of a notary public and raising my right hand and mailing it to Salem because it's because LTD is actually part of the state. So, there's many ways you could do it. I'm not opposed to it. To me, it's just a formality.
Julia,
Just an
Julia,
idea, you guys.
Julia had a question.
Yes, Julie, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a thought. I know you had mentioned this before, Michael, and I have been thinking about it. And, I felt like for me, I was, I think this is an important volunteer position. I don't know that it's the level of an elected, position or an appointed position. But what I like about what you're suggesting is creating something a little more formal. And we've been in a pandemic and we've been online and we haven't connected to each other. And I wonder if, as we're, kind of coming out of that, if there's something that we could do annually to really acknowledge and value the people who are stepping into these roles. And I wonder if, if we had some kind of just acknowledgement around that.
All right, how about like a luncheon or something?
Yeah,
we can all do a lunch.
Yeah, that validates, this. We want to continue to have these kind of community engagements, and we want to continue to validate and value volunteerism. And so I appreciate that. I don't know that the swearing in is necessary, but I think the valuing.
It's just a great idea. I started thinking of, so I thought I'd bring it before the board, and I think we should all do a lunch as a committee. That way we can catch up on business and stuff like that. A lunch, or we can go. Or we all can do something.
Michael, Tim has a question or a comment.
All right, go ahead, Big Tim.
Thank you. It's just Tim.
First of all, nickname though.
Pete's camera is freaking out again, and it's terrifying me. So I'm just gonna look away. But I'm aware that the swearing in, primarily for elected or appointed officials, are part of a constitution requirement. There's usually some kind of constitutionality that requires that swearing in on some kind of document or something along those lines. I don't believe as a neighborhood association, our charter requires us to do something like that. I really wanted to echo what Julia was saying. From what I'm gathering, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, but from what I'm hearing, it's to celebrate those who are stepping in positions of leadership and of support, especially for a volunteer position that represents the heart of our city. And I think that that's a really good thing to look for. My fear is that like a swearing in ceremony is pretty formal. It's a really formal thing. And I really like this. I mean, for me personally, I like this group because it's very grassroots and we're all neighbors and we're all, friendly and we're and my fear is that the more we lean into formalities, the more that kind of neighborhood involvement sort of edges away. And so I don't know if I'm necessarily super on board with like a swearing in ceremony. I'm not going to poo-poo or be upset if it happens, but I think to Julie's I think to Julie's
so I started thinking about that for an idea.
Right. So let's let Tim finish his thought. Okay. And then Suzanne has a thought.
I just wanted to echo that. Yeah, I think a good community engagement and connecting together is is the best outcome, and sounds like what you're looking for anyway. So that was my thought.
All right, how about if we all do lunch somewhere or something like that, so we can catch up on business? And I think a luncheon would be a great idea, like at Cornucopia or somewhere like that. So we go and just sit down, talk, and
So
all
Suzanne,
right, how
you
about
had
it that way?
Yeah, I mean, mine's pretty much what they were saying. I think at the last meeting we had downtown, why am I pointing downtown? We're all downtown. Is, where you like introduced yourself. I think now because we're kind of coming back to in person and we're getting new people, that I'm
Yeah.
seeing two sides of recognition. One is, and I don't know how many meetings to do this at the general ones, is for you to introduce yourself and kind of say, these are the people, everyone that's on the steering committee raise their hand and then say, oh, Suzanne's this. Because I think that would, if I was new to this group and I walked in, I'd want to know like who's been around for a while. So I
Right.
think that's good. And then also as far as recognition, maybe in December or something, just to recognize people and say, just to remind you, these are the people that have served this year. I don't know, we could have a cake, I don't know, and say, thank
Very cool. We
you,
can go to lunch or something.
and thank you to them. So I think maybe two ways to do it. One, so that community members know who we are, and then the other, in December or whenever, to just recognize these are the people that have done this work. So that's one way we could do it.
All right, how about like a luncheon at Cornucopia or somewhere like that?
You just
So
want
we
free
can,
lunch, Michael.
I'm just saying, it's a great idea too.
No, I'm just saying, you just want a free lunch. All right, because you've been begging me for a free lunch for a while. All right, so that's great discussion. I personally feel like a swearing in to me feels like a little bit more formal than I feel comfortable with. I am down for recognizing volunteers. That's always a good thing to do. So we can continue that conversation and maybe think of something by December. That would be great at our November or December meeting. Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Michael, and we will continue that conversation. All right, anybody else before I move on to the next topic? Do we have any goals for this year besides our volunteer recognition? Do we have any other goals for this year?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I can think of like two of them.
Okay. Julia?
All right, how about like a fundraiser or something, car wash or something like that, to raise money for our committee?
Okay, that's one idea. Julia?
Well, I continue to just think about what it looks like to come back, from the pandemic and be in person. And I know we've started to have our community gatherings that way. And so for me, it's I'd really like to start thinking about the summer and what I can't remember, our community meetings July and September or June and August. Regardless, I feel like those are
July and August.
July and September.
September. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm really interested in
July, September.
So I'm really interested in just, being really creative about those 2 months and thinking about, right now, what can we start thinking about that could be really, are there things that are already happening that we can coordinate with? I just feel like, the community coming back together and really highlighting us. Are there other events that are happening where we can, officers or representation of our steering committee can be part of those things? And I think just being a little more proactive to be out in the community than we've been up to this point.
Yep, I totally agree.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely probably some things, some things that we can take advantage of that's already happening in the community, particularly in July. There's usually something that we could step into. Janina, you're off the phone now. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Sorry, of course, command staff calls right when I'm in a meeting. So, okay, so I don't have the exacts on it, but when I was meeting with Michael DeLuise today, one of his neighbors she's like, oh, I've been meaning to talk to someone who can get me into the neighborhood meetings, because she's from Ireland, and apparently in Ireland on September 30th, they do this big event where everybody goes out and helps with trimming the landscaping and stuff back from sidewalks and stuff to help the handicapped people who have to utilize the sidewalks and stuff, or blind people, or, so forth. So I guess it's a huge thing. And Michael was even saying that he's heard of it in other states as well. But the neighborhood associations get out and help do this thing in neighborhoods to kind of get it to where the sidewalks are cleared up for people that have difficulties. So I can't remember exactly what it's called. She's supposed to email me. I gave her card, but that's September 30th. Apparently it's a national kind of thing they do.
Love that.
Interesting. I like that. I think that's a good community cleanup, neighborhood beautification.
I mean, yeah, and it can even go where you go around with garbage bags and kind of clean things up, and just kind of, you can get it out to the neighborhoods, maybe advertise it in the downtown core where everybody gets out and kind of just on September 30th is apparently a cleanup, help your neighbors day kind of thing.
Suzanne?
Oh, that's a great idea. I second that motion.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, the city used to do a lot of stuff at the park blocks, like on Friday nights, and there were different activities. So I think one of those would be a great place for us to, set up a table or something to kind of get, I mean, you're going to get not just people from downtown, obviously, people are going to come in, but it's an easy walk for a lot of us. And so I just think something like that, I think like Julie is saying, to kind of get our name out there. I've tried in my apartment complex, but people come and go here so fast. It's really hard. A lot of them are college students, so they're not going to go. But I just think something like that, that's like you said, already set up, that we can just be like, hey, we'd like a booth or, a table, and, to let people know what we're doing.
I tell you, Suzanne, I think that you just brought up a good point. We should definitely do that.
Awesome. So one of my goals kind of leads into some of these, which is just trying to get more people involved, more people to meetings, more people involved, which is kind of why I've been working with the MailChimp and trying to get that more people on that. And so, yeah, I think having something like that on, interesting. I found a couple examples of the cleanup day. So, Julia.
So a couple of questions. Who is the new city person who's in charge of the pavilion downtown? Did they hire that position? Is that a person we can connect with?
I believe so, and I believe I have her contact information, because I was going to use it for an event at SMJ, and I'm not going to now. But yes, I can talk to her, and we can certainly work something out. The issue with the pavilion is the market uses it, so we would be limited on which days. But
well, I'm just wondering, for me, if we knew everything that was happening downtown, like say from the middle of June to the end of September, and we had a calendar of all those times and who a point person was, you know, there could be one or two of us who could be available for those events. And if they knew we were there, it might give us, if there is any kind of public presentation, that there might be the opportunity for a 5-minute 2-minute, really quick, hey, by the way,
Mhm.
there's also this neighborhood association.
Well, and I know that, I think it's the farmer's market
Mhm,
that lets nonprofits set up a booth.
mhm.
But I can't remember.
Because I'd be really open, and I'm thinking of First Fridays, art walks in the
Mhm.
summer. I mean, there's just things that are already happening, and if we are a little proactive and get connected with folks, you know, and just can kind of be one of us can be highlighted, and we can say, have a little spiel to talk about what it looks like. And even if folks aren't part of the downtown neighborhood, I do think, you know, we've said this over and over, our neighborhood is a little unique because it's a place where everybody comes.
Mhm.
And so to give a really positive update about how we love living here, how we love working here, you know, I can't imagine that wouldn't be helpful.
Yeah, especially with the reputation our neighborhood.
Yeah. And even giving people the ability to connect to somebody. You know, if you have questions, if you have ideas, if you're concerned about something, you know, here's somebody, you know, on the steering committee of the Downtown Neighborhood Association. They'd love to meet with you and visit with you.
All right, how
And
about
we
your
take
table
that
that plan?
information back to Emily.
All right, how about like a table at PK Park during baseball games? We can have our own booth sitting right there. I don't know who'd be up for that, but that's another idea.
I have had a booth at PK Park for SMJ. And I did have a few conversations. You have to be really interactive with people to get their attention though, because they're really focused on getting their drink and going back to their seat.
Right.
So we would have to think of something really interactive. And that's one of the things I noticed is I don't have something that's really like attention grabbing. So, but that is something for us to look at.
Yeah, and Leah, I'd be happy to.
How about the Lane County Fair? We can have our table set up at Lane County Fair.
That is a little more intense.
Oh, that's just another idea.
It is. It is. I'm just going to say that 6 days in a row is a lot.
Oh, true.
5 days. Is it 5 days now? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah, it's and I think once you sign up for a booth, you have to sign up for all of the days for that, and that is a lot to cover. Because it goes
yeah, exactly.
morning to night. I've been involved with that once before, and it's actually kind of a nightmare.
And you would connect with such a small percent would be in downtown. I mean, I don't think that's a good use of our time. We need to think about where people who live and work downtown would gather. Downtown would be the place.
Easy Square.
If something was happening there, you know, it sounds like, well, put up a booth at Farmers Market or Free Speech Plaza, you know, at least people there know about downtown. So I don't have anything that's popping in my mind of some other event downtown that have booths at. You know, you can set up a card table in Keithy Square and just see who wanders by and say, hey, we got an association, you should join us.
That's funny.
So Julia and then Janina.
Sorry. Leah, I wanted to mention to you if you want some support. I don't know if we should do a subcommittee around that, but I'm happy to kind of do some investigation around summertime stuff and maybe at our next steering committee bring back some action points of, you know, here's some things I think we should do and people I think we should connect with.
That would be a good idea. Yeah. Janina.
I'm just trying to remember from last year or 2 years ago, before the pandemic, when we used to have the meetings downtown, I remember getting quite a bit of participation from the people who lived like down on 8th and stuff in those apartments down there. And I don't know if Pete, if you remember, I could have swore you guys sent out a newsletter. Or there was some way that those people got contacted. Does anyone remember how that worked before?
I don't remember. I think I've served what for 2 or 3 years now, Leah.
Couple years.
I don't remember the newsletter, but I can look back into it.
I guess I could have
I
asked
have-
Michael this morning when I met up with him, and I just didn't think, of course, about that. But
So the only contact that I've been aware of, the only interaction I've been aware of is the postcard that the city sends out, that we make and the city sends out. We did not have any kind of mailing list. We didn't have any kind of anything until I just set up this. We were barely keeping track of attendance. So, and that's kind of why, and I think part of the reason that we had such good attendance is because Pete and Michael were in those apartments down there, and so he was able to talk to everybody, and he was very active on that. Noah.
So add-ons to 2 different points. One is not necessarily a table, but places for flyers to go, just sort of saying, hey, we exist, would be the grocery stores and the bars. And then as far as the newsletter, I noticed that it's actually in the charter that we have a newsletter and we have an editor. But I see that that's not currently a thing, but it is in the charter. That's all I had to add.
I'm working on it. I promise I'm trying. Suzanne.
I was going to say the same thing about the flyers. 2 points. One, and I know, the cards come, they come right before the meeting. So I don't know if we could do something with flyers to put on businesses. And also you were talking about apartment buildings, like in our elevators here, we have flyers for the fun things we do. And I'm thinking people look at those more than they get something in the mail and they don't know what it is, it's gone. I see those cards, I'll be honest, all over the floor when we get the mail. So that may be something for the flyers. It could be, like Noah said, in businesses, how they always put up art, advertisements. And then also if we could get connections. I mean, I have one in my apartment, but everyone that lives in an apartment, say, I'll take a couple flyers, go to the office and have them put up. So that would be another way to kind of get the word out.
All right, I get an idea. So I can talk to my landlord, see if I can get newsletters posted here. For the people in my apartment can look at the newsletters here and join meetings. I can try to recruit that way here where I am.
Yeah, and I know that I have an in with the Obi company, and they have a newsletter for their residents. And they're always telling me to put stuff in their stuff. So I am happy to put together a flyer, particularly for our next meeting, and see how that goes. And I can, part of the reason the postcard only comes out just before is because I've been only getting it to them just before. So, but now I have next month's meeting pretty much set, so I can get that one done sooner.
What date is next month's meeting?
This has been awesome. Lots of great ideas. Is there any interest in developing a subcommittee for a couple of people to kind of check some of these ideas out and see what it would entail?
Yeah, I'd be more than glad to help Julia out with it. Like Julia brought up before, I'd be glad to help her out if she needs help.
Anybody else interested? Michael and Julia interested in? Okay.
Are we
doing
creating
the flyers and stuff, you mean?
No, for the subcommittee for researching some of these ideas that we just came up with for community involvement.
Yes. I will.
So do we need to, I can't remember, do we need to make a motion to create a subcommittee?
I don't think so.
But we just want it to be official, so.
Yeah, so we can just put it in the minutes. So,
All right, let's make a motion.
So is the flyers and the community involvement two separate things?
two separate things.
Okay, I'm much more inclined to do kind of some future investigation around community involvement for the summer.
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm asking about. I can work on the flyers. That's not a problem.
Okay.
But future involvement.
All right, so it's me and Julia.
Julia and Suzanne.
And Suzanne.
And I don't have
Suzanne,
I don't have a lot of time, but if I get any more information on that September 30th thing, I'll let you guys know.
awesome.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And then we can all do that. If we think of something else or hear something else, we can pitch some ideas. Pete.
Just a suggestion for folks on that want to be on this committee. Remember that you can always contact the whatever they're calling it these days. It used to be the Office of Neighborhood Involvement. Now they're trying to go with equity and something I don't know. But their job is to kind of help us get more get involved in the community, and they might have some resources that might help you guys out. Especially they'll have access to the calendars early and stuff like that. So, if you're looking at like summer programming, and they're a good place to get in if you're if there's a concert at the park blocks, they have things that we can even use, like if we want to do an ice cream social kind of thing. Although I wouldn't suggest it for downtown, but that's a different story. But there's some options there, and don't forget to explore that. That's all I want to suggest.
Yeah, so Julia and Suzanne and Michael, I will send you Cindy's contact information, who is our contact at Equity and Community Engagement, which thank you for putting that in the chat. But I will email that to you, her contact information, and you can reach out to her as well.
All right, I'll reach out to her. I'll let Julia handle some of it. I will. Julia, we'll take turns. I'll definitely help if you need me.
Yeah, happy to do that. I'm getting ready to go on vacation for 2 weeks, so it'll be
Out to the coast.
it'll be after that, but yeah, mid-March. I'm happy to help kind of start looking forward.
Great.
Oh, where are you going, Julia? To the coast?
Yes, Pacific City.
Woo.
Nice.
Okay. That was a very great discussion. Thank you, everybody. So we can circle back to this discussion in April at our next steering committee meeting, and maybe look at some things we want to try to pursue, a couple things for 2023. Okay, so just really quickly, I secured a room at the library for our March 22nd meeting. And that meeting is going to be featuring a MUPD conversation from Atkins and Dame, parcel 3A they want to come and talk about, and then they want to come back again. Sarah Architects wants to come in May and talk about their project, which is a different site, different parcel. So that is what's happening for May, for March and May. Cliff and I were having a discussion about Janina, if you could talk to us again about safety and stuff that's happening downtown, maybe next month. Maybe bring somebody like you did in November. Yes.
Oh, like Skinner, I should get Skinner to join.
Well,
Would that be for the March 22nd meeting?
yes.
Okay, I can talk to Sergeant Ware since he's the downtown sergeant and see if he would be willing to come to that. If not, I do have a lot, I can get talking points and stuff myself. I can do some talking. So I can tell you guys, let me grab my little thing here right now, just because this will be good for you to know. They're increasing the downtown officers. So my little notes here that I created. So kind of all over the place, but they want to try to get a little bit more coverage in the evenings down there on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. So but we're going to be increasing to 8. We have increased to 8 officers down there. They're not all going to be working at the same time. So we have 1 officer Monday through Thursdays from 6:30 to 4:30. And then we have one that's Tuesday through Friday from 6:30 to 4:30. So there's a little overlapping there. Then we have one Wednesday through Saturday from 6:30 to 4:30. So as you can see, we're kind of getting overlaps in there because of the officers we have. Then on Tuesday through Fridays, we have 2 officers from 11 o'clock till 9 o'clock at night. And on Wednesdays through Saturdays, we'll have 3 officers that'll be working 5 p.m. till 3 a.m.
Wow, that's a long shift.
Yeah, I know, right? So that's just gonna work late, but that's just because the some of the problems we're having with the bars and stuff down there. So so yeah, that's gone to 8 officers now. So I'm getting a little more coverage. Unfortunately, they still don't have anyone for Sundays because that's just not a high crime time. I know a lot of the business, I've recently gone to the basically the merchants, the downtown merchants meeting. They're a little frustrated because they want them on Sundays too, but we're really understaffed right now. I mean, it's trying to get people that want to be police officers is hard enough. And then when we do get people, if they can even pass the background checks and all that. So we're just, we're trying to fill positions, but right now we're down over 25 positions. So, so we're lucky to have the 8 downtown that we do.
All right, how about Skinner? Get Skinner downtown.
He's got a lot on his plate, trust me. And you know what?
Oh, he's a great man, but still he can do the downtown every now and then.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of officers we can talk to. We don't have to talk to the chief every time. Noah, did you have something?
I think I may have missed that, or maybe this is a conversation that had started before. Is what are those officers who are foot patrolling or?
So they're in vehicles. They're hopefully going to be on bikes soon too when the weather gets nicer, and foot patrol. They're a mix. But those officers are specific to the downtown core. So they work out of the 960 Olive building. And so those officers specifically are just, I'm trying to remember the exacts, but I think it goes like Lincoln to High Street, and then I think 5th Street to 13th, something like that in there. I have to remember the exacts, but it's kind of in that just that general downtown core. I mean, okay. You still have beat 2 officers on top of that. So beat 2 officers are officers that work downtownish area. They're not in that specific core. They hit a much larger spectrum, but they can still respond to calls down there. So those are just officers that are specific to the 960 Olive building. And then you have, on top of that, you have Sergeant Ware, and then of course Paul Bishop, who runs the station, and me.
Oh, you got a hard job now, Janina, but they need to give you a raise.
Please let the chief know that.
So I will just speak for my part of the downtown neighborhood. There is someone or someone's going through the park digging up the rock wall and taking our rock wall apart, our historic rock wall, and just taking it apart. And it is not showing up on my cameras, which is very disturbing to me. But a pretty significant portion of our retaining wall behind the house has been disturbed. And these are not small rooms. So
right, when you get officers down,
time frames on when that might be happening?
I don't yet. I'm trying to figure it out. I know some of it was this weekend because it wasn't that the big pile that's there right now was not there last week. But I don't, like I said, I haven't captured it on the camera yet that I've been able to find.
And I would
So-
recommend, even though it doesn't seem like it, I would be calling that in to file a criminal mischief report just because you want that documented.
Yeah.
And that way, if we do catch the person, we have the police report on it and stuff to charge them. So
Yeah, so I turned it into Park Watch today, this morning, and I'm taking pictures and I'm documenting it. Because it is historic fabric. It was put in before, particularly behind the house, was put in before the foundation was. So, and one of the piles that's disturbed is next to our foundation. So I'm a little annoyed at the moment. But that comes from us being so isolated. we are kind of sitting there by ourselves. So
More officers downtown by the Johnson House and by where I live. There's been tons of crime going on down here. People trying to steal bottles of cans and people starting fights and stuff like that. And we need more officers to cover this area. Do you need? Can you help us out with that, please?
no, all I can give you is what we have, and that you guys don't know how lucky you are to get 8 specific ones. That's actually very huge, because we are so understaffed right now. I mean, the calls for service are out of control. I mean, I can go into that when we speak on the 22nd, but I can give you the stats on how many officers we have, the dispatch calls for service, but it's not good. So.
Well, this place is getting.
So
Yeah,
no,
go ahead.
Cliff, go ahead.
I'm Cliff. I'm taking this class pass fail, so I'm just a lurker, to use Noah's term. Are you? I notice in just looking at information online, there's a program for members of the public to volunteer and play certain roles, like video footage collectors, and then there's like a kind of a low-key patrol. Is that a program that you do have? Do you have a lot of participants in that? Do you
Actually, gosh, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this. I was just in this meeting today. You guys, so it's going to start Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think the 2nd is the first one. We actually have volunteers in policing that have been, a lot of them have done like our seniors on patrol and stuff. You'll see them in bright yellow down there during just certain hours. We're starting out Tuesdays and Thursdays. They're going to be down there checking on the businesses. They're going to be walking with police radios. They're going to be able to interact with some of the unhoused. And they are volunteers. It's a great team. So yeah, they start on the 2nd. Actually, I'm going to be, unfortunately, I'm in training all day the 2nd, so I couldn't be part of that. But I'll actually be down there walking with them a lot once they get up and running to kind of help them get going and stuff. So the goal of that is to get more police eyes down there, because they do say police volunteers, but they are a volunteer. And I think we have 13 of them that volunteer to do the program. And then the goal is to start getting them down there at special events like the farmers market and, Saturday market. So right now, just because it's a pilot project, they're going to start Tuesdays and Thursdays from like, it's been one of those days where
You don't have the notes? Can you?
Back-to-back meetings since 6 o'clock this morning, so I'm like paperwork everywhere. But I'll try to get you guys more information on that. But yeah, so if you see that, good question. Thank you. Is it Cliff?
Yeah.
Or do we call you Lurker?
Yeah, I'm the lurker.
The Lurker. We got Lurker and Big Tim. Is that what you were calling him, Michael? So we're getting nicknames today.
So what's the name of the program, Regina?
It's just basically it's just going to be a downtown support team. And like I said, I have this basic note, and I was taking notes today because I was running around like crazy. I was literally like in and out, like paperwork everywhere. It looks like, Jimmy Hoffa could be buried in my office right now, and you guys would never find him just off of the meetings today that I have stuff everywhere. But I can tell you, like, they're going to, I actually am going to be teaching them de-escalation training and stuff, and so forth. But basically, they're going to be, talking to the people that are blocking sidewalks. you know, seeing if they can gently say, hey, could you guys pick up your stuff, get out of the sidewalk, that kind of thing. You know, I keep thinking, does someone have a question? Nope, okay. You know, addressing littering. If they see something happening, they can get on the radio and get the downtown officers that way. So there's going to be some more eyes. They'll be checking on businesses that have trespass letters that are expiring and then trying to keep those active so we can keep that going. So, you know, it's just kind of a, like I said, this is brand new. They just had their first meeting today. I was in it, except for the last half an hour. So I didn't even get my picture taken with them because I had to go to another meeting. But it's a great thing to just put some extra eyes down there, and they're very eager and excited to do it. So, and they're all people that have been an active part of this community. I'd say 95% of them. I think there's just one of them that's not retired. So
I think it'll be good to have the additional presence.
Absolutely.
The question that came up about, hey, you know, would there be an opportunity to have somebody come and speak at a, you know, future meeting just about best practices for, you know, the public to protect themselves, unfortunately is now a topic near and dear to me, because my wife and I were assaulted in downtown on the 11th, and we were both injured, and I've never ever feared walking downtown. I'm 6'3", 200 pounds, and yeah, I got blindsided, and
Oh, you should have knocked the guy out. I would have.
yeah, that's easier said than done when you get attacked from 5 feet away unexpectedly. He hit me in the ribs like Lawrence Taylor head on and knocked me into my wife, her into the street. And so.
Oh, did he get arrested, Cliff?
Yeah, I chased him down several blocks after I tended to my wife. I caught up with him and he gave up and ran out of breath.
Good for you.
And
did you end up on the police, Cliff?
I had 911 on the phone the whole time. So we were able to, you know, they caught him and arrested him, but you know, we're going to be weeks recovering, you know, from this.
Absolutely. And the city is really understanding, the city officials and so forth. They really understand that we need to make the downtown core a priority. And I think Emily can even attest to this. So that's why we're really trying to come up with a lot of things to kind of see what we can do to increase the safety and security down there. So you know, and I've met with Anna Fifield with urban development, because urban development got funds to increase or to put towards the downtown core. And I have really just slammed it like, hey, and so is my supervisors, whatever it is, we need to put some of that money into helping people feel safer, whether it be lighting it up down there, you know, and so forth. What are ways we can get more eyes? So.
All right, I do have a question for you, Jenny. For Oak Street, can we get officers for Oak Street? Because I've seen a bunch of homeless people hanging out down here, going through stuff, going through trashes, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Michael, those 8 officers will cover that whole area. We can't just have them sit on Oak Street, but if you see something happening, definitely call it in, and that way they can respond pretty quickly there.
I'll do that. I've seen a lot of stuff go on here at Oak Street, and I thought I'd bring it up to you to see what we can do to protect the Oak Street and it's the residents that live down here.
No,
This is
unfortunately,
getting
we're seeing
dangerous.
it on all the streets, a lot of the streets down there, and that's why they recognize they've got to get those officers down there, and why we're doing all the stuff we are. I'd like to say that it's just Oak Street, but the whole downtown core right now is having a lot of issues. So we got to kind of spread it out amongst that whole downtown. Make sure
Right, I
everybody
understand that.
effects of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I will put you on our agenda for the 22nd, along with our monthly conversation. And from Adkins and Dame. And then we will be meeting at the library, like I said, in the Singer room upstairs. 6 p.m.
What floor, Lee? Is it the second or is it third floor?
That's the second floor.
Second floor, okay.
What room again?
I'll be there.
The Singer room.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we have met many times before the pandemic.
Yep. Very lucky to get it. Yay.
Nice.
It's good that the library is busy, but it's also difficult sometimes. We have an award-winning library. Suzanne.
I have a quick housekeeping question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you send out invites, and I know there's two, there's the general one and then the steering, do you want us to respond whether or not we're attending or not? Like for tonight's meeting, do you want, hey, I'm going to be there? Or I used to just tell you if I wasn't going to be there. So how do you want, because I know Michael's reached out to me a couple times, you know, asking if I was going to be there, and I wasn't sure like if we're supposed to do that, or does it matter?
I don't care. I like to know if you're not going to be there, but it doesn't matter to me if I hear from you. If I don't hear from you, I'm assuming you're going to be there. So
exactly. Okay, that's what I'll keep doing then. I'll be there unless I say otherwise.
Right.
Okay.
Be there as well.
You guys are
I'm speaking, I'll probably be there.
Yeah, you guys are all adults. And you're with busy lives. I don't expect you to answer every single email. Julia.
Hey, I just wanted to mention, Leah, do you know Dana Fleming? She's the new director for the library. As people were mentioning the library, I thought we have a new director with a new kind of vision, and she's great. And so she would be a good person to like tap and maybe have come and speak at some point too.
What's her name?
That's a great idea too, Leah.
Dana,
What's her name?
Dana Fleming.
Dana Fleming?
Yes, she was the executive director for Eugene Education Foundation for the school district, the kind of funding side of that, and she's really amazing.
No, is she replacing Lavina?
I think, yes, I think Lavina went to the Bay Area, correct?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, new person, fabulous person.
Okay.
Yeah, Dana and I have been on the Cultural Coalition together for the last 10 years. So
Okay, I'll go down and introduce myself next week and get to know her. Hey, and also, looks like you guys know that the new Cuban place is about to open down there. So we're gonna have a new business about to open up. Yes, right. I can't wait to try some Cuban coffee. So that's
Right across
and then,
from Noisette, correct?
yeah, it's right across from Nosette's. Yes, and then also at 980 Oak Street, we're about to get Domo's Cookie Company. So apparently it's a Dominique with her dog Marty, and so
Emily,
We're on Oak Street.
cookies.
yeah, so there's
All right,
two
so we're at on Oak Street.
Huh?
For that new place, so where on Oak Street is that going to be? That way I can look for it.
So I just know that it's 980 Oak.
980. I'm at
It's
5.
where Crumb Together
560.
was. It's where Crumb Together was, right under the Underpark by that barber shop.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Right by the courthouse almost.
Look for that. So it's between, if you were to go down Broadway towards Oak and then head up towards South, it's right there.
All right, I know exactly what you're talking about now. All right, I've seen signs for it.
So anyways, yeah, two new businesses that are about to get going down there. So
hey, Emily, have we had any rumors around town around what's going to happen with the old Wells Fargo building?
Not at all. We looked at it for potential city hall, but a variety of reasons it won't work. It's got asbestos and some other problems. I have no idea if there's been any interest in anybody renting it or buying it or knocking it down. So no.
Yeah, it's such a central located corner right there.
It would have been a cool place for City Hall with the great big window and everything, but it's actually not that large and it needs a. So I hope somebody does something inspiring with it. It's a great, important location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put a bug in the ear with my friends at the county museum. Said, hey, what would you think of those big, huge windows right there?
Boy, that would really increase people coming. That'd be fascinating. People that come into market would look at it. It'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Science Factory is looking for something too. I think that was kind of the other eWeb plan was
Mhm.
4J, Science Factory, kind of
Mhm.
combination.
Which I spoke to favorably.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, I will say I'm very, very unhappy about one decision. And I was really hoping they were going to stick to having businesses under the apartments on the riverfront. And I have found that is not the case.
No retail, all housing,
All
housing.
housing. So we had this
Nothing to bring the rest of us down there to visit. Where's everybody gonna go get their cigarettes or Coke or whatever? No
You know,
little
I mean,
restaurants.
you look at riverfronts in a lot of good cities. People love it, and we would bring so many more people to downtown core to go there, and now they're just going to have it as apartments, where it had the ability to have restaurants that could overlook the river. And I'm helping with the.
You can see, I share your outrage.
Yes, that was a shame. That's a huge shame to the public. So
All
frustrating.
right, Janina, we have so much housing now. Why do we need more housing? We have apartments, we have houses for people. Why build more houses? We need more restaurants and retail, not
Well,
apartments or
We need
houses.
houses, Michael.
I know we need housing,
We actually
Houses.
do need housing. We're
We need
very
houses.
housing.
but we need retail and restaurants too.
Yes.
Uh,
That's why I like the
I've seen
idea.
on the news, it's all apartments according to the news. We need retail and restaurants.
Well, and that's why I
for
was
people
hoping
to
that
go
would be on
to.
the lower levels and the apartments on top, but so that it could bring more people to that. Almost kind of more to the downtown. It would brought more to the downtown. So
Yeah, I prefer that if because when I lived in Seattle, that was really common, the retail on the bottom and the residential on the top, and it was great because you could just go down the street and there would be like a little like a drugstore or something like that, just real convenient. And if you have enough housing and enough retail, it really becomes a synergistic thing. Let's speak tonight. So.
All right, folks, I think we're winding down. Anything else for the good of the order before we all sign off for the evening?
Yeah, I got one more thing.
All right, Pete, go ahead.
Every year we need to agree to renew our membership with Eugene Neighbors Inc., which is basically a nonprofit that allows us to basically can be a bank for us and have a 501c3 number that if we get donations or something, if you want to do fundraising. I used to be on the board of it. I shed that responsibility back in October. But it's really meant for the neighborhoods to have the opportunity to have 501c3 number and which is the federal tax ID number, and provide some kind of banking service, if you will, essentially keeping the money. And I've been the official DNA representative to ENI for the last few years, but we just need to agree to renew our thing. It doesn't cost us anything if we renew before the end of March, basically.
I think we've lost enough of our committee to not be able to do that right now.
I'm still here, but I'm really beat, and I'm really trying not to put on the chat, hey, gotta go.
Right,
But,
right.
I'm in favor of this. If we can just vote for it and do it, I'm on board, but I am.
All right, I'm on board as well.
I'm on board. I hate you. I gotta get up at three tomorrow morning. So do this all again.
Yeah. So it's all good.
All right, Emily, I got one last question for Emily. All right, how about the fireworks thing for July 4th?
Michael, we need to take care of this thing first.
All right.
Can I have a motion to approve our membership in the Eugene, what is it?
Eugene Neighbors Inc.
Eugene Neighbors Inc.
I move.
All right, I make a motion.
Okay, so Pete made the motion. Michael, you seconded.
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Yay. Thank you.
Okay, I will take care of the rest.
Awesome.
I gotta
thank
go,
you,
you
Pete.
guys. I will see you March.
Bye,
20th,
Janina.
if Not sooner, okay?
Yes.
Emily,
Bye,
I want to see your
Janina.
dog downtown so I can pet it soon.
Okay.
Right, I'll see you around, Janina.
So Pete,
I don't know
sent you a
anything
message.
about fireworks, Michael. We have not talked about a fireworks show, so I've got no update.
Right, for July 4th of
But
the
thank
spring
you for the
Springfield,
reminder, I might ask.
of lights for Springfield for July 4th. I thought we can all come together for the community. We can all come together at the Day Island Park for festivities. We can put a table down there for people to that's whoever's going to be there walking around. We can use ourselves to the public, whoever's coming walking around, like college kids or something like that. That'd be an idea. So I thought I'd remind you on that. Let's see where we stand on that too.
So she answered your question. She hasn't talked to anybody about the fireworks, but thank you for the reminder.
Alrighty.
Okay. All right. I think other than my question to Pete in the chat, I think we're all done. So I will see all you guys later. Okay.
Yep, we'll see you at the March meeting.
Okay.
All right, I'll definitely be there.
Okay, great.
Bye.
Bye. Pete,
Yes.
did you see the email from Kate Wilgus?
Hold on a second. From who?
Katie Wilgus. She is
Katie.
the new executive director for Downtown Inc.
Oh, for DEI? Is that what she's
Yes.
with?
Yes.
What does she want?
She wants to have lunch with us.
Okay. I can't on the 1st, and I'm gone from the 11th through the 15th. Otherwise, you just set something up.
So the week of the 8th, the 6th, the week of the 6th.
Week of the 6th. Hold on here. I don't. Oh, god damn it. Had to switch calendars and stuff around. It's a long story.
Familiar with the long stories.
What day is today? Oh, there we are. The week of you mean the week of the 6th?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm pretty open, it looks like.
Okay. So I will see if I can set something up with her and let you know.
Okay, good enough.
Okay. All right. Have a good evening, Pete.
All right, have fun.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.